What is going on, YouTube? This is The Last Musketeer, and real quick I'm going to show a showcase of me beating IC-9. This isn't my first clear, but this is one I did recently because somebody in the comments was asking if I'd show how I did it. So I figured I'd go ahead and make one real quick. It's not going to be the same as my initial, but I'm using Myrtle specifically just for the E2 aspect so I can borrow those units. Will not deploy her, but I've used Fang and Courier as my 2-block vanguards, both important because you need to block a lot of people early on and they last forever. So Mouse will be my Arts Guard, Lapland for a little extra damage on the boss. Gummy is going to be my main defender because she heals herself and it helps to sustain against the boss. Perfumer for the AoE, Click for a little bit of arts damage later on to replace my Arts Guard, and then Shining and Hibiscus as my second and third option for medics, just so I can sustain against the boss's damage. Now, for this, I'm going to use Posey the first time, and then I'll use Chin the Hauling Day. There's probably other options that you can use, but that's just the ones I'm using for this. Now, for the cart, and this is very important, not necessarily have to be set up the same way. I'm using Stun Duration for 3 seconds. I'm using the Roof Instrument that lowers defense by 40%. The Mushroom Essence for healing as it passes by. You could use the 30%, I'm sure that'll work just fine. I use the 60% just for the guarantee. Also use the Elixir for extra SP. That's also not necessary. You can use some other things for that. If you want to do extra healing or something in place, you can change that out. So Paradoxical Explosion I use in both of the clips of this video. It's not exactly necessary. You could do other ways of dealing damage, like dropping an extra unit to guarantee that damage instead. I just kind of use it because I like the idea of running it through a couple times and then exploding on the spot that's being defended. It makes it a lot easier if you do have it to keep that lane clear. But first things first, I drop Courier on the second panel here in front of the gate, facing left, and this is only to guarantee the heal from the cart. I drop Fang facing towards Courier and towards the blocked lane. Now I drop my Arts Guard on top of the ice cream truck right away because I want to make sure that the volleyball cart does not get by. Those hit really hard. And to guarantee that Mouse stays alive, I drop Shining over there just to keep maintain. You can use any healer other than an AoE. You need a strong single target for this because AoE is probably not going to block enough damage. But as you see, I turn the cart direction down through the lane and then turn it left to face Fang and Courier. And the reason I had Courier facing left is so that the cart could drive through Fang as well to get that extra heal and the extra SP gain. Now from here, I drop Posey just so she can get ready, and she's right below Shining there. That way she's in range of the heal in case she needs it, but she also builds her special really quickly. I drop Hibiscus right above the orange square at the bottom left corner because it needs to be out of range of the boss of the skill. And before the boss actually comes out, be sure to switch your front vanguard to a strong tanky defender. I use Gummy for the extra sustain that makes it a little easier to keep her alive. Takes a lot less heals from my people. But from here, the best thing to do is in front of that second blue gate that's not being blocked, putting a tab that's facing down just so that my Paradoxical will blow up. I do that later on, but you drop the crossbow, activate Posey's special while the boss is coming to the crossbow lane. That way you get as much damage as you possibly can going forward. The crossbow disappears, so I place Click, who is my single target arts caster, over there just so I can get a little extra damage on the boss, though it's not necessary for that right away. It's mainly to take care of the ice cream cards and the volleyball cards that come through, because later on they'll start activating immediately, which means Mouse is going to die if she is not strong enough to survive all of that. Now I drop the crossbow on the bottom lane and activate Posey's special just so I can finish off the boss so I don't have to worry about him later. I do believe he makes a full another lap around, so if you wanted to, you could wait for that and just worry about clearing the lane. But as you can see here, the cart's going through, healing everybody, going back, and then blowing up on the wall, which is taking out all of these guys really easily. You could throw an AoE guard there without Paradoxical Explosion right there to the left of Hibiscus, or where I have Performer, sorry, and right above Fang. That makes it to where you can use that instead of the paradoxical, but I do suggest still driving the car through because it makes it a lot easier. And I do apologize, I should have done this as I was recording. It'd be a lot easier to talk about where I'm dropping things and show it in the moment. I kind of have to do this as a voiceover because I couldn't get my commentary to stop popping at times. I'm still trying to work around that. But that's the first clear. The only thing I'm really going to change on this is changing Posey to Chin the Hauling Day. And there's probably other good supports that you can use for this. These are just the two that I use because they seem to be basically guarantees. As long as I'm not doing some small brain plays, but doing some stupid placements, I'm just fine with taking out the boss in time. Now once again, Vanguard facing left, the other one facing right. That way the car is driving through. The arch guard in front of the cart. And really the only thing that'll probably change with this is I'll drop some more units just so you can kind of see. But for the most part it's going to be the same. Shining once again to keep Mouse alive. Actually I don't know if it's Mouse or Moose how they want me to pronounce that because it's spelled like kind of like the dessert. Somebody could tell me, I'm sure I'm pronouncing it wrong, but either way, Hibiscus, I keep calling her Hibiscus, Perfumer, rather, at the top, right above Courier, for the AoE heals to keep that lane sustained enough. I'm dropping Chin right now early, that way I can make sure that she has her skill available. And as you can see, when the boxing guys are coming up here, it seems silent. That's because the boss is about to come out. You'll notice a lot less things happening during that time, usually. So, kind of prepare for that. Just make sure that you drop your defender in time. You don't want to take extra damage from your other units. Now, I go ahead and activate Chin the Hauling Day already because instead of it being a duration-based ability, it's based on the amount of uses. So she can start shooting as soon as the boss becomes in range, which means you're going to get as much damage out as possible in that duration, as opposed to waiting a certain time to click it. Now, at this point when the boss is getting low, I'm going to go ahead and drop click, just so that I can guarantee that she stays alive, because Shining is not facing any way to heal her, so I don't want to get her taken out early. She's very important for helping clear out these ice cream trucks and volleyball servers a little later on. Now, I do drop Gabriel here for a little extra boss damage. Absolutely not necessary, as the boss is going to make another full rotation before actually trying to go into the gate. So he's going to walk all the way around here, probably get stunned quite a few times and get stuck. It's going to take a little longer to get rid of him. But Minimalist, for the most part, is just going to go back over here. And at this point, you could have turned on Chin's ability again to help take out the ice cream trucks. They also make a big rotation all the way around, so as long as you have damage, not the worst thing to worry about if you don't turn it on. But just having it on guarantees that the boss dies very fast and those trucks don't really have a chance of making it around and doing extra damage to any of your units. But anyway guys, that's basically going to do it. That's all I did. Nothing fancy. It's just probably an easier way to use the event item to guarantee that you get the finish. But that's going to be all for me, guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.